In the movie-making system, movies are made involving two separate, completely unequal groups. The overconfident studio executives who know jack shit about filmmaking, and the disappointed movie fans that constantly have to settle for mediocrity instead of greatness. These are their stories. Dun dun! Oh yeah, it's about that time. When two men come together and get heated in a fun yet non-sexual way. So sit back, relax, adjust that tracking, don't be kind, fuck that rewind. It's time for the Video Store Bad Boys Podcast.
Yeah, boy!
Does Tom Cruise tighten his ass when he gets in the sprint mode?
I saw Species. I was traumatized when I saw the second one, and he choked this woman on his dick. He was like, yeah!
I got a lighter, I got no badge, what am I supposed to do here?
Who
the fuck are you? 1, 2, food's not coming for you.
3, 4, no food no more. 5, 6, you're gonna become a stick. 7, 8, you wish you ate.
9, 10, you'll never eat food again. So, titties.
Titties in action. Go together like peanut butter and jelly.
And now, your video store bad boys, David Coy and John Kent.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another thrilling edition of the Video Store Bad Boys Podcast. Oh yeah, it is episode 3, coming at you now for the third time. David, this officially makes this trilogy. Am I right?
Yes. We're after this. Next thing you know, we're heading into horror movie territory. Where after this, it doesn't stop. By the time we get to the 5th or 6th one, we gotta say the death of the podcast, but still keep going.
Yeah, that's where we die, but then lightning strikes us and we come back and we just continue to murder and just fuck with people.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yes, everyone, welcome back. Thank you all so much for joining us again. Before going any further, please like and subscribe. Spread the word, man. We need to spread the word and grow so we can get better and improve the quality. Again, we want to get this thing visual. We want to do all this fun stuff, but we cannot do it without you.
This is true. We need your help. We're coming to you as the fans. We're coming to you, the fans, to keep this going. We're going to keep going, but we love your support. We want you to help us out whatever you can. If you want to spread the word, tell your friends, tag us, do what you can. We love it. Thank you. We're appreciative.
Yes, we get very affectionate when you support us. So I'm not afraid to go in for the hug, David. Are you?
Never. Bring it in.
So everyone is welcome back to the video store. It's a cold day here at the video store here in New Jersey. We had a little tease of spring, but today it is cold as shit.
That shit is very confusing. I'm just like, I don't know what to dress like for the morning. When I wake up, it's like a cool breeze. I'm like, all right, cool. Man, I just need a hoodie. And then midday is freezing. The water in my car is cold. Outside is freezing. I'm slipping on black ice.
All right, everyone. As you can see, we've started off on a very silly foot. A lot to talk about this week at the video store. A lot has happened. And again, I just want to reiterate, all are welcome here. We love you all. We do not discriminate against anyone. All we ask is just don't get fucking offended, man. This is all fun and silliness. We're not doing anything maliciousness, so just chill. All right, we love you. Let's have fun.
John, let's start it off. What are we talking about today?
Well, David, big news in the world of the Rocky franchise. There's been talk for a while now about what's going to happen with Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan. We had Creed 1, Creed 2.
Amazing movies.
Creed 2 ended on a beautiful, beautiful note.
Mm-hmm.
And the question was, what's going to happen now? Was it the end? But then there was talk that we were getting a Creed 3, and it looks like it's officially happening. It's going to be hitting theaters November 23rd, 2022. And David, not only is Michael B. Jordan coming back, there was a rumor going that he wanted to direct. That is true. Michael B. Jordan will be making his directorial debut with Creed 3.
Which is actually pretty amazing. And also, as we have, Ryan Coogler is also producing, so that means he's back into the fold. Well, he actually did produce on the second Creed, didn't he?
He did. And it's very cool that we're getting 3 different directors, but at the same time, because it's nothing against Michael B. Jordan, he has been in the company of Ryan Coogler multiple times. Ryan Coogler is a genius.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite current filmmakers. I think Creed is his masterpiece. There was so much of his heart in it, and like I said, as great as Creed 2 was, and as a Rocky fan, you can't ask for more in terms of a continuation of a series that everyone thought was done, including Sylvester Stallone. It was done so well with so much heart. And the way Coogler handles a camera is unlike any other. I just kind of wish he did the whole trilogy.
Yes, definitely, because actually with them two together, they make magic. Like I don't think they have yet. I don't think they missed yet with working together. So Ryan Coogler did not direct Creed 2. Was it because he was filming Black Panther? Was that
I
why?
think you're right. I think that's part of that was what, but he still produced it. He still had his hand in it, and Creed 2 was great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Very well done. It was great to see Drago again. I thought that was very, oh, so good. Dolph Lundgren, I think, was so great in it. Everyone was good.
I think with Creed 2, which is like perfect timing. Like I remember, like the last episode, we was talking about the whole resurgence of like remakes, reboots, and stuff coming back from the past and making sequels 30 years later. How Creed pretty much did it right, and then this second movie even continued it with bringing back Drago, his son, and then the whole because he killed um, Michael B. Jordan's character Adonis Creed, his father, killed his father in Rocky Four. So it's like,
Apollo Creed, yep.
yes, Apollo Creed. So seeing that come back, the whole rivalry, the guy who killed your father, your son versus the his son, blah blah blah. It was just like perfect. It was just a perfect. It was like how can I say? It was like X-Men: Days of Future Past, where it's just the perfect timing of movies coming together. The whole timeline, genre, everything come together is like a chef kiss. It's just perfect timing. So yeah, it was very good. That was like you said, people didn't see like why they needed to make another one. I honestly think this third one should be the last one. I think it'll bring everything full circle
I
with
agree.
this series. Like the first one was Michael B. Jordan's character Adonis, you know, creating, coming out of his father's shadow, coming to his own name, with the help of Rocky, his mentor. And then the second one was pretty much, he didn't really have Rocky on his side. He had to learn these hard lessons of who he was, what he really wanted, what
Right.
he wanted his legacy to be.
Yes.
So, and I think this last one is just him either like continuing that legacy on his own or like building that future. Like the second movie laid the foundation for who what his legacy is, who he is. He finally knows, comfortable in his shell. I guess you can say he knows who he is. And this third one's just, I mean, I would love Sylvester to come back, but maybe in like a reduced capacity in a sense, because I feel like I said, the first movie he was there to guide not hold his hand, but guide him. Like, I know your father. I trained with your father. I'm gonna help you into this. The second one was like take a step back. They had their falling out for that. In the middle of the movie. Had to figure out his own way.
Mhm.
And it kind of, I feel like in the movie there was like you're your own. He said something along those lines where it's like if you watch another movie, you get he's trying to set up the thing like, hey, you're on your own now. You did it. You don't really need my help. Some saying like that. So this one could be that now that do it as who you are as a complete human being without me. I'm still there in your corner, but this is your moment to shine. And that the fact that Michael B. Jordan is directed, it's almost like another. This is your moment to shine. And with Ryan Coogler, like I said, I feel like their friendship is tight. All the movies they've done together, like I said, they haven't missed. So when you hear Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, you're gonna get a good movie.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said that better myself. There's definitely have that rare actor director combination where it's just like you want them to do everything together.
Mm-hmm.
They bring out the best of each other. And yeah, that's I have so many questions regarding this third one. Like you said, it's kind of crazy when you think about it because like Creed 1 and Creed 2, if you really think about it, all stem from Rocky 4. Like it's all from Apollo dying. Like that's and Drago. This again the sequel that is really very short. I think it's one of the shortest in the series. And it's essentially just montages and as a movie compared to what the first Rocky was and it kind of got criticized for lacking like some more story and it ended up being more focused on training montages and fights, but it was so much more than what people thought it was at the time, and it became so iconic in terms of Creed's death was so devastating, and it's one of the most brutal scenes ever. Like it's so hard to watch the way Sylvester Stallone filmed that. It's you feel every punch,
Yeah.
every blow, and then to have it continue on, like I said, like you said, It's crazy that this series started with Rocky back in 1975, 76.
Wow, is that old?
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, practically homeless. Yeah, wrote it with a pencil and a notebook. I mean, damn, had no money to make it. When you see him running, right, in the gray sweats in the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
he's hopping out of a van. They're like, run here, run here. They stole all those locations. A lot of what you see in that first movie is only one take.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do, and thank God, when you become more innovative when you're, don't have all that money and backers, you find creative ways to get what you need.
Yeah, and that's what was so great. John G. Avildsen, who went on to direct The Karate Kid, he did Lean on Me, amazing director, directed the first one, but then Sylvester Stallone took over with Rocky 2 with he wrote them all, but that's when he took on writing, directing, editing, and starring in the movie, maintaining the physique and doing the fight choreography, which is now the same shoes that Michael B is stepping into. And that is a lot. That's hard to do.
Actually wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, how Sylvester Stallone pretty much, took the reins really fully after at the second movie, wrote, direct. I would not be surprised if Michael B. Jordan picked up a couple things from him. Hey,
I'm sure.
Can I pick your brain about this? I'm pretty sure Michael B. Jordan did not just sit on his ass. He was like, you have a friend like Ryan Coogler, and you have a legend like Sylvester Stallone. You think I'm asking you questions? I'm picking your brain. I'm like, hey, how do you do this? I'm a learn. And I think this is the perfect. And like they said, this franchise is also probably Michael B. Jordan's baby. So this is the perfect opportunity. You know what? Again, I feel like this is a perfect storm. This movie, I have high hopes. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I am speaking great things into this movie. I'm putting it into the universe because I love Michael B. Jordan. I am a fan. He's also from Jersey, if you did not know. Newark, New Jersey, represent.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
He's a Newark boy?
Yes,
What?
he is a Jersey boy. I'll wear that with pride.
Hell yeah.
So I'm putting all the good feel energies into the air for this one.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm with you. But yes, I have so many questions regarding what is this story going to be? Because spoilers, in the last one, Adonis made peace with his father. He finally visited the grave. He had his adorable daughter who was struck with the illness, the deafness that
Yes, the daughter is deaf.
Yeah, she has it too. His girl Tessa, what's her name? Tessa Thompson?
Yes, Tessa Thompson, yep.
Yeah, she has the same issue, and they had that. Then Rocky finally went and reunited with his son and in Canada, and he went off to go be a grandfather, which is why I just thought everything sealed up nicely. And because, you had that carryover from the early movies, the whole legacy of Creed, him making peace with it, and settling that whole blood feud he had with Drago.
Mm-hmm.
That's all done. And a lot of the rumors I've been seeing, and I think it's ridiculous. I don't think this is going to happen personally. But the rumor that keeps going around, there's even a couple fan trailers made where it even has Michael Jai White in this role, which fucking love me some Michael Jai White.
Who doesn't?
I know you do too.
Oh, yes.
Where he is Clubber Lang, Mr. T from Rocky 3. Mr. T's character, Clubber Lang's son. That's the rumor going around that this is who he's going to fight, which made me roll my eyes because that just doesn't have, to me, the same organic, heartfelt, like natural feeling of including that like it did with Drago.
For me, it doesn't make sense. Well, one, I love, like, me and you, we are talking about something. We love Michael Jai White. I feel like he's very underrated.
Oh, dude. He's so underrated.
Yeah, but I don't think, one, age different wise, I would not think of him as Clubber Lang's son, maybe a little brother.
No.
And
no.
two, we did that already with the second movie of fighting someone from your past.
Exactly. We don't want to rehash that.
Yeah, but it made more sense because it was Drago, because he killed Apollo Creed. He killed Adonis' father. So it made sense.
Exactly.
So for you guys to have it be Clubber Lang's son, Michael Jai White, it has nothing to really. Now they're going to that territory we were talking about last episode about just the remakes and bringing back the past for no reason. You know what? Nope. That's not. If they want Michael Jai White in there, that's having him as maybe the trainer of the kid he's facing, maybe, or make, find some other different role you can put him in. But if that's the premise, please God, please Michael B. Jordan, if you are hearing me right now, do not. I hope Ryan don't let that be. I hope Ryan Coogler just looks at them. It's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I think with Ryan Coogler especially, he's way too smart of a filmmaker, and so is Michael B. They don't put their names on shit. They know what's good, and
Yeah.
I know there's no way. That's just an internet rumor, and that whole Michael J. White thing, that was just a fan trailer. I don't.
Okay.
There's no talk of him officially being in there. I mean, it looked cool. Don't get me wrong. I was loving the trailer. It's really great if you find it on YouTube. Very well done. But like you just said, there was a reason to bring Drago back. There was an organic, emotionally charged reason that made sense. What the hell would he give a shit about Clubber Lang for? It wouldn't make a lick of sense.
I feel like
But
they should have a whole new,
yes,
whole new. I mean, you can't even call it villain, protagonist or antagonist. Sorry,
yeah, it's
antagonist.
protagonist. Yeah,
We need a whole new person. I feel like it should be someone that pushes the boundaries of his character. I would bring it back to
Yeah.
Dark Knight, the Dark Knight trilogy, which I feel like I
Yes.
love that to death. The first movie, like they tested Batman each different way. You know what I mean? I forgot how
Yes.
the first movie they tested him
I
like
can tell you.
mentally, like his origins.
Yeah, no, the first one had to do with emotion. It had to do with fear and anger. The second one tested his mind because the Joker was all about mind games. And the third one tested him physically in every way, shape, and form, between breaking his back, climbing out of the pit, and fighting, actually physically taking on Bane, and also physically putting himself at risk to get rid of the bomb and everything. That's how so great. It was like emotional, mental, and physical.
So that's why I feel like they need to find another way to test his character. His resolve to be the best. I don't know. They can figure that out, but something that will make sense to test his character, like where he is right now. Maybe he's been on a winning streak. Like he's like the best fighter. Like he is his style. He has everything he wants, everything he ever wanted. Like everything you would dream of as a boxer.
Right.
He's like the Floyd Mayweather. He just has money, cars. I feel like his character doesn't really care too much about that. Adonis Creed, but he has those materialistic things.
The potential.
Yes, the potential. He has those things. His life is great. He has his family is flourishing. His daughter is grown. Maybe she's like 5 or 6. He has everything you would want, and then there's this character that comes in who wants to take it all from him.
Right. In that way, it could be like Clubber Lang. That's where it could be similar, because that's what Clubber Lang did. In Rocky 3, Rocky was at the height of his powers. Rocky was that champion like Apollo now. He was on TV. He was making appearances. He had the money, the mansion. He started dressing more, stylish. He kind of was living the life. He definitely lost his edge. And that's what his trainer Mickey saw and was getting very afraid of, which was, here comes this monster, this hungry, underground monster, Clubber Lang, who's lives in poverty and is essentially like a version of Rocky, like a darker version. He's hungry and he's mean and he's gonna fucking take your head off.
Yes.
He's not out there to just have a boxing match. Ironically, what Duke, Apollo's trainer, told him, this guy is actually here to fight. Like he's gonna fuck you up. Like, you don't understand. You got to take this very seriously. In that regard, I could see that, but in a way, it did kind of happen though with Drago's son. Sort of did that to him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So with
It's
that,
like a 2-for-1 with that one.
yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to say what they're gonna do with this one.
Yes, and I was actually going to say, I want to interject and be like, we've seen that before numerous times where you always have the hero at the height. It kind of makes sense. You have someone, hungry coming in to like take you off your pedestal. But I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it multiple times. It's to the point, whereas we as audiences are smarter than what we used to be when we used to make movies. We've seen the tropes all too many times, so it's like we want maybe something new, something fresh. Maybe if, I don't know, Apollo Creed had another kid out there who wants to claim the title of Creed. Depending on how they maybe work that out, I will not find it as too cheesy, not too cheesy, but then it just adds that could add more complications to it. Now it's like, hey, I'm a bastard child too. I want what you have. Why did you be the one that mom went after and picked up, or not mom, but
Yeah, mom brought
why
home.
did no one come looking for me?
Yeah.
That could be emotional in itself, and then just dealing with the fact that I'm not the only one. You understand. We come from the same, but also not the same because Felicia Rashad. I'm screwing up everybody's name. She, yeah, sorry, I apologize,
No,
everyone.
you're
But
fine.
yes,
Felicia Rashad,
yeah,
that's her. You're good.
Felicia Rashad, yes, and she came and picked up Adonis. Was like, hey, your family. I'm gonna help you out. It can, they can take that to where they need to take it. It's just an idea. But I mean, something that's different. I just want to see something different.
I agree with you. But on a side note, can I tell you something that always pissed me off? Because
Yes.
I'm a diehard Rocky and Creed fan, and I've watched all of those movies way too many times. I have the Blu-ray set. I love them to death. One thing that's always bugged me is, okay, Adonis is Creed's son, right? And when Felicia Rashad comes to get him, and especially when he has a child and everything else, right? There's no mention of him having any brothers or sisters. Am I wrong?
Yeah, doesn't yeah, no, they don't mention him having brothers and sisters.
Now, here's the problem with that. Go back and watch Rocky 2, right? So after Rocky 1, when Apollo wins, but we all know that Rocky pretty much won that, and he's at home and he's talking to his wife, then not played by Felicia Rashad. I always forget the actress name, I'm sorry. But same character, it's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he's reading these articles about him, these letters he's getting from people saying the fight was a joke, go kill yourself, this and that. As he's talking to his wife. Now this was 1979 when this movie came out.
Yep.
Kids are running through the house. And in Rocky 3, when Rocky gets beaten by Clubber and Apollo comes to help him, he even says, listen to his dialogue. He says, when you beat me, I didn't want to hear from anybody, not my wife, not even my kids. He mentioned him again. But then in Creed, they don't exist, which is so odd to me.
Maybe like a nice passing or something. Maybe a family dinner or something. I don't know. Like you said, yeah, it's weird that I feel like I guess we know that he has. I would guess they're his half brothers and sisters, but yeah, they never mention it.
Especially when he's getting married and having a child, which would make them, aunt and uncle.
True.
Wouldn't they, you know what I mean? Like, or have a mention if they don't get along, but not even Felicia Rashad acknowledges any other children.
Word. And you would think if you're like being raised, like if you're taking it to a home, you would be raised with them, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, but we will see. We will either way. Again, I'm a little skeptical. I'm hoping for the best. I'm a big Rocky and Creed fan. Seen these movies way too many times. I love Michael B. I love Ryan Coogler. I love Sylvester Stallone. I'm curious to see if he's actually going to come back, like you said. I don't see how you could do this without him at least in one scene. Am I right? You can't do it without him. It's still Rocky's world, right?
Exactly. He gotta be there. It's like you say. It's his world. He started. It would. I feel like it would be weird for him not to at least be in the movie somewhat.
Yeah.
Like you said, it could be the continuous Creed story, and like he can do like I think this last movie would be him being his own man.
Yeah.
Maybe even he loses it or something. He loses his edge, and he goes to Rocky for advice, and that's Rocky's scene.
Yeah.
That's Rocky right there giving his advice, or him being in the not even part of the I guess the crew, the boxing crew. He's actually just in the stands watching him fight.
Yeah, even if it's just one scene where he has to talk to him for some guidance, because we get it. I mean, Rocky's health is not the best. Obviously, he had cancer. He, is getting up there in age. Sylvester Stallone's getting up there in age. I understand, which is horrible to think about, but it is true. And but at the same time, yeah, you can't, I hate to use a Karate Kid reference, but I'm gonna do it. It's like Daniel LaRusso and having Daniel LaRusso and not Mr. Miyagi when Mr. Miyagi's around. It just doesn't work. It's become that similar kind of relationship they have and they have such great chemistry together. Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, they're so good when I love their scenes together. I think to me, that also brought out a performance from Sylvester Stallone. The fact that he's never won an Oscar for playing Rocky kind of pisses me off because there's no one else that could play that character the way he has. And to have this character endure for 40 plus years, almost 50 years. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hell of a run. And that's over this little movie that had no money, has become this huge saga and has had these two spin offs, and it just keeps going. But I guess to wrap this all up, do you think, this is my last question. I hope it's good. Like I said, I'm there. It has my money no matter what. But do you think this will be the end? Or is he gonna keep going with sequels like Stallone did?
Honestly, I would love it to be the end, but we know that it might not.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, why would you end it when you can make, if it does that well, hey,
Yeah.
let's make like, it's already, like, that's the thing now. Franchises, they want to keep it going. They want to milk it for all it's
Mm-hmm.
worth. And I feel like you got to know when it's, like, your time to be out. Like, a trilogy, that's what I feel like it should just end at 3, and that's it. Make it, don't go no further, don't go no more. Maybe if you want to make a TV show, maybe, but I don't even know. Let's not even put that in the universe. Just end it
No.
at 3.
No.
The Creed trilogy, boom. It could be like, how many times have we had like the perfect trilogy?
The perfect trilogy?
Yeah, like 1, 2, and 3 were all great.
I'd say Lord of the Rings probably falls in that category, safe to say, right?
Exactly, but it's not a lot of trilogies that are like 1, 2, and 3 were amazing.
It's hard. It depends on I also feel that it's all on how it's envisioned as a concept. I think a big mistake what happens with a lot of films and sequels especially is it's better when it's thought out to be like similar to what they're doing in Marvel. I hate to bring this up again, but if you conceive it as a trilogy, right? Like we're going to do this in the first movie, this in the second movie, and then the third, this is where we wrap it all up. And you really take it that way. That's good. Or even as two, right? It's fine. But the problem I think happens is so like if you and I make a movie, right, and we work really hard and we make a beginning, a middle, and end, and the movie does well, right? And that's all you and I did was all we focused on was that A, B, C, and D of this one single story. Now you tell us, hey, this made money, do another one. Now it's not going to work because now we got to think, oh, well, now what? Instead of having it pre planned. That's why it's better, I think, in my opinion, is if you're conceiving a story like that has the potential to go on, not the guarantee, the potential. It's smart to leave it to where the film functions as a beginning, middle, and end to where it could be enjoyed by itself. But if it goes on, it's very crucial to have plans and have it thought out ahead of time so that if it does happen, you have an organic route to where at least it'll make sense and have a greater chance of it working. Because without that, it's just making a sequel or a trilogy or another entry for the sake of making an entry, which is that's sort of where I'm coming from with this third Creed. I don't feel this one doesn't feel as organic as the others. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to prejudge it. I'm not trying to shit on it. Again, I love this franchise. I love this series, but like you said, what worries me is are we making this because it made so much money and therefore we got to just keep going to milk this thing till it's dead? Or is this really, did this come from a place of thought and heart like the others did?
I would think so. It would come from a place in heart. As long as they ended here, I feel like after this, it's like, what more can you do? Like, I mean, it's they can always figure out ways to continue the story, but it's just like I said, I feel like it runs the risk of overstaying its welcome. It's like, you don't need any more. You told everything you can tell.
Yeah.
Because we see it multiple times in movies where, they keep going and you start losing, from the first movie to the last movie, you lose sight of what it really was. We see many examples. The original Batman run with Batman Returns, and you got Batman Forever. Then you ended up with
perfect example.
Batman and Robin. You saw how how it started to where it ended. It's like, how the hell did we get here? We're gonna talk about it later. The Chucky franchise. Like after the third, it kept going. What movie? The Seed of Chucky. It's like it's not. It's like
Oh, it's so
a
terrible.
shell of itself. It's like what? This is not the same movie I fell in love with when it first started. Like what is this shit?
No, no, yeah, we'll get that. We're gonna talk about Chucky and all, but then that's a very valid point. But let's just hope that doesn't happen here. But hey, we're there, and to Ryan and Michael, I say, go for it. It's yours to lose, gentlemen. We're there. Hopefully, it all turns out great. And the box office is big. And speaking of big box office, David Coy, whew, as you remember, Avengers Endgame
Mm-hmm.
was the number one highest grossing movie of all time globally. Notice I said was. Wait, what?
Yes, it was dethroned by Avatar.
The same one it dethroned. They re-released it in China, where there's a wall. That's where it was re-released. And I just want to say, it's about. I like Avatar. I just think it's great in China. Sorry, that was a horrible Trump impression. All right, but yes, what happened was they re-released it in China, Avatar, which held the number one spot for a long time. Avengers Endgame dethroned it, and now because of this re-release, it brought in 12.3 million. It only needed 7 million to beat Avengers and get back, and so now the total global box office for Avatar, for the highest grossing movie of all time, is 2.802 billion fucking dollars, David.
That is a lot of fucking money. I honestly hope James Cameron got a deal on the back end because oh my god, that is a lot of money.
It is. And I just want to ask you, is this movie does it warrant that? Is it really that great of a movie?
I'm glad you asked that, John, because when you told me about this originally, and I was like, and now it's the number one movie. I'm looking back at no discredit to James Cameron. He's an amazing filmmaker, created many franchises and many things.
He's genius.
Genius. I'm just in my head. It was just you look back at the movie, and it's almost like, why was this movie number one in the first place?
Thank you. I can name other James Cameron films: Terminator 2, Titanic, that if you told me they were the highest grossing films of all time, I would get it over this. I just don't see what the big fucking deal is. I don't give a shit about the sequels. If you are fans out there, I love you. That's your thing. God bless you. For me, I don't see the point of this sequels that have been how long in the making?
Oh, they've been making this sequel for like what, almost 10 years?
Oh, and this fucking movie, man, I was so happy to hear that something toppled it because I just always thought it was very overrated. It's visually gorgeous. I think it was an amazing theatrical experience, but to me it functions. This is just my opinion out there. Calm down. I just feel it kind of functions like an amusement park ride more than a film. I think it's way more style than substance, but this is just me. I think the visuals are fun.
Yes.
It's got a lot of entertaining stuff, but highest grossing of all time?
This is how I see. I think when it originally came out, there was he originally wanted to do this. I think way before then, but James Cameron with the foresight that he has, he realized the way he wanted to make the movie, the technology wasn't there yet. That I'm thinking that in itself is very smart as a man, as a director, as anybody to see. My vision can't be completed yet because the things that I need are not available yet. Instead of anybody else saying we're just going to do it anyway and make complete, not hopefully, possibly crap. He saw as like, hey, we need to wait. The technology's not there yet, and the things that they created and did was groundbreaking, which they deserve all the accolades for that. And everything they shot, like you say, is gorgeous. It looks amazing, but just the story wise, if you look down at it, it's the same. It's like it's a trope we've seen before. You have
Pocahontas, right?
Yeah, Pocahontas. Even before that, it's just the corporation versus the native people, and then you have the one from the corporate side, the white savior. In a sense, the trope is like he's the one that gets them together to save and stand for their land. They needed his help to do it. It's like we've seen this trope numerous. that might be the genius of James Cameron. He saw this trope and made it, and he used that foundation, and created this world around it. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's nothing new. This movie is literally nothing new. It's just
No.
I think it's very I think it's very harsh to say, but I can't think of another analogy. It's just a shit covered in gold. I'm
I
sorry.
love you.
I can't think of another
this is
analogy,
why-
but that's pretty much what it is.
This is
It's
what this
the same shit
podcast-
covered in gold.
This is what this podcast is all about, right here. See,
Yes.
it is shit covered in gold,
Mhm.
and this is why I love you, because you have the balls to say that it is shit covered in gold. It's overrated.
Yes.
It does not deserve this spot. I mean, there's so many other
Mhm.
films that are so much better, especially by him. He is a genius.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
so innovative.
Maybe that's, you know what? Again, it's that perfect storm, that chef kiss. It's James Cameron.
Yes.
You know, if you look at how many times have he's been number one at the box
Oh.
office of breaking records of just movies? I mean, just you look at his Aliens. I was gonna say Aliens too, but it's just called Aliens.
Yeah.
Like you said, Titanic, Terminator. Oh my God, this man has. He's like he's him and Steven Spielberg. He comes in, I want to make this movie. The studio's like, here's a blank check, make it happen. Because this man pushes the boundaries. He sets
does.
the bar. He's like, I'm going to give you something.
Mhm.
I think that's also because you know who he is.
Yeah.
James Cameron comes through. He's like, I'm going to give you something great. And you hear that James Cameron on Avatar is like, oh, wow, okay, let's do this. You see the visuals and all that stuff. It's like, I'm with it. But the fact that they now took back number one, I almost feel like it shouldn't count.
No.
Because if we want to right now, if I was Kevin Feige, oh word, you want to take? All you need is 12 million to beat us. All we need is 12 million to beat you guys. Hey, that's re-release
Endgame.
Avengers in China again.
Absolutely.
Endgame.
Throw it back
They'll
out
probably
there.
make 50 million. They'll make 50 million. I feel like Avatar doesn't deserve it. I almost want to. I wish I had Kevin Feige's number. I would call him as like, please release Endgame just so you can just keep number one, because they earned. Endgame was again the chef's kiss, but of years of foundation and groundwork laid down by that studio and Kevin Feige. They pretty much built that brick by
For
brick.
10 fucking years over the span of multiple films in a way that was never done before.
Never.
And I have some issues with Endgame. I could go on and on about it if I were to geek out. But in the end,
Mhm.
I'm shutting up
Yes.
because guess what? It was still phenomenal. And like you said, so much craftsmanship went into that. And the payoffs and
Yes.
time.
Yes, the Easter eggs and stuff that these are the people who, when they made this movie, they looked at the comic book history. Everything was like the little nod, like I didn't even think about it. Every time Captain America was gonna say Avengers Assemble, they cut him off. And then it's like, oh, okay. Like you didn't really think about it. It's like Avengers, they cut it off. It's like, oh, okay, we didn't get it. But then that satisfying moment in Endgame when all of them.
Yes.
It was like, oh, that's why he didn't say it, because he wanted to wait to this exact moment where they had every Avenger, every Marvel superhero they had at the time show up for him to say, Avengers Assemble. My God. When we saw it, I felt like the room just exploded
It did.
when he said it. We was just waiting for this moment. Even when Sam came back, he's like, Cap, do you hear me? On
Left.
your left.
I was just gonna say that
Oh
to
my
you.
God.
On your left,
Yes.
man. Still gives me chills to this day. And so many iconic moments, the culmination of 10 years coming together, a huge payoff. I mean, historical cinema. Yes, Martin Scorsese. Marvel is cinema.
Mhm.
Fuck you. Brilliance. The Russo brothers hitting it out of the park. This was history coming together in a way it's never been done. It pushed filmmaking, it pushed comic book films, the cast, everything coming together so amazingly, and then leaving you feeling such emotion at the end with Tony's sacrifice and the questions of where this is going to go, and Cap passing the shield on to Sam and all this amazing things that they did. That deserves to be number one. Not a bunch of fucking blue people running around in this horseshit story, like you said, we've seen 1,000 times. It's so overrated.
Yes, we see it. So many, even if we don't see it, it's like it's pretty much real life. Avatar is what corporations, America, anybody does to indigenous people every day. So
Every day.
we're not seeing nothing groundbreaking and new. We're, like I said, shit covered in gold. I love you, James Cameron. You are one of the greats.
Yes.
You have pushed the boundaries. You are
Mm-hmm.
cinema, all that good stuff. But you know what? That can even attest to how great James Cameron is. He literally gave us shit covered in gold, and people ate it up. That's I wouldn't be surprised if James Cameron was like, I'm making shit covered in gold, but damn it, that's gonna be some high quality ass gold. And that shit's gonna be compact with all the nutrients and vitamins that you need.
You can even look at the corn in there. That's gold corn nuggets. And let me tell you, I
Yeah,
picture
exactly.
him saying that like in a robe, and like he's naked underneath and the robe is kind of open. Like you can see it. Like you don't want to see it, but it's like a power move. And he's got sunglasses on and a big old fat cigar. And he's just like, that's how
Yep.
fucking good I am. Look what I could do. I could make this. I think directorially, it doesn't come close to the brilliance he did with his other films. Like you said, we'll go right down the line from the first Terminator being so innovative with no budget, that first movie. Then you have Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
Terminator 2, The Abyss, True Lies. You have
Oh, I forgot he did True Lies. I
oh,
love True Lies.
I mean, Home Run and Titanic. Forget it. I mean, there's so many more examples of brilliance in him, and especially Terminator 2, I think being his all-time grand slam home run. If you were to pick one James Cameron film, in my opinion, I could easily see Terminator 2 taking that spot over this shit covered in gold.
The fact that Terminator 2 was so
Yeah.
good and set that bar so high that they are not able to
No.
recreate that. The closest they got was Dark Fate, and even
Oh,
that
fuck.
was
David, you're
But
upsetting me.
I'm sorry.
Don't bring
it
that
back.
shit
Let's
up.
bring it back. That's sorry. Terminator 2 was just that amazing. I watched Terminator 2 every other month because it was just that good. It was just so amazing that
And it holds up.
that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. They have not yet to
No.
beat that. And that was the second
Yes.
movie. How do you cap out at 2?
I know.
You capped out at 2.
David, it's 30 years old now. Those effects still hold up. And the reason I get so upset at this is I wish to fucking God he just stayed in the Terminator franchise, because maybe it would have turned out better than an enormous pile of rotted shit, which is what that shit became. Oh, no, that's another story for another podcast. Sorry, everyone. I'm getting aggravated.
No, that's yes. I wanted you to at least get that
Oh.
off your chest.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
bring it back. We gotta bring it back, but I just feel like Avatar, doesn't deserve that spot.
No.
Point blank. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Amen.
Not sorry.
Enough said. Case closed on that. Couldn't have said it better myself. But you know what? That we got heated on that. Let's talk about something better. Let's lift our spirits. You know what we're gonna do, David?
What are we gonna do?
We talked about a brilliant filmmaker, James Cameron. Let's talk about another named Steven Spielberg, shall we?
Yes, Uncle Spielberg.
Uncle Steven, we're your nephews. A lot of people don't know
Yeah.
that. He don't acknowledge us, but we're coming. We're gonna show up at
Yes.
some point. Some family get
Knock at
together.
the door, like, hey, let us in.
Yeah. But folks and physical media fans out there alike, big news dropped. Oh man, there is a sweet fucking collection of 4K movies coming, and that is the Indiana Jones 4 movie collection coming to 4K Ultra HD in a sweet box set June 8th this year, 2021. All films are remastered from 4K scans of the original negatives with extensive visual effects and work done to ensure the most pristine and highest quality image. And David, it was approved by director Steven Spielberg himself. How do you feel about this release?
The fact that it was approved by Steven Spielberg says all it needs to say for me, to be honest with you. Because once you said it was like, read like the extensive visual effects and all that good stuff, the first thing that came to my mind was when George Lucas redid Star Wars, and this effects just felt weird when he redid it. But I mean, but Steven Spielberg is another genius. He's not gonna just let anyone just meddle with his work,
No.
especially if he directed it. Especially if it's Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones franchise is loved. Like, who does not love it? Like, it's just an amazing franchise. It's an amazing series. Harrison Ford, amazing. He's a man that's been in like how many iconic movies of the like too
Too
many.
many.
And it's like you can rewatch Indiana Jones, at least the first three movies, numerous times. It's just the magical, just figuring out. It was, I don't know how to explain. It's like National Treasure. I love National Treasure. I love the mysteries behind things, to find out the clues, going on an adventure, find out the hidden meanings of stuff. Like when Indiana Jones came out, well, I was clearly not born just yet, but that seeing it was amazing. I felt like I was there. I felt magical. I felt what Steven Spielberg does great is make you feel magical in those moments. Like, oh my god, this is like
Yes.
I like a dream, not a dream, but it's like I can't say I don't know the exact word, but it just gives you that feeling of just like I feel like I'm in like I feel wonderful, I feel great, I feel like even though this is like he's being shot at, I feel like I'm on an adventure with him.
Talk about a director with too many masterpieces to even list. It's Steven Spielberg, and one of his all-time greats is the Indiana Jones series, and now this is the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first film, and that's another one that still holds up. Harrison Ford just is Indiana Jones. I don't think you. It's going to be very tough the day they go to recast it, because it's just so iconic and he's so perfect. And as similar to Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, that is definitely Spielberg and Harrison Ford with the Indiana Jones series. And I love that you said at least the first three. Oh, really, David? So what's the problem with the fourth one, which is the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Is there an issue there?
It's just not the same type of magic again. It's just the CGI is a little wonky, and then the introduction of aliens. I guess the alien part kind of threw me off a little bit, and just the nuking of the fridge, which is now a new term.
Yeah.
It's like first it was like jumping the shark, and then once the
Yeah.
nuking of the fridge came out, it's just like what? And just for reference, these things are, I guess, how can I explain? It's like the jumping of the shark was in a film movie sense where something is so weird or outlandish that a studio does or movie or character does. Like when I think it was Fonz jumped the shark in that show.
Jump the
It was
shark
so
in Happy Days.
in Happy Days.
Yep,
It was
that's
so
where it started.
Yeah, it was so outlandish and ridiculous that it became its own thing. Like now, when you see someone do something stupid, it was like, oh, he's jumping the shark. But when Indiana Jones did, so what happened, kids, was he was, I think, left at a nuking site, and they was a nuclear site where they was testing out a nuke, and the only way for him to save himself was to put himself in a lead line refrigerator, which survived being nuked. It gets worse. He was blown across the land. Now, mind you, imagine if you was in imagine yourself. You are in a fridge that is being blown across 10 football fields and lands in a rocky terrain. Is just boom, boom, bang. It's like going down this mountainside, and somehow you survive unscathed with just maybe a bump on the knee. It is completely unrealistic. Yes.
When in actuality, if you somehow survived that launch and that roll, which would be impossible, especially for a man at his age, the amount of tumors you would have all over your body, because I'm sorry to say this out there. I'm pretty confident I could argue this with any scientist out there. Something tells me a fridge does not protect you from radiation of that magnitude. And I don't think a little cleanup afterwards would be enough to really clear you of the radiation poisoning that would be flowing through your fucking soul at that point.
Not your body, your soul.
But you know what, David?
Yes.
You know what? I get that everybody talks about nuking the fridge, the alien things, but you know what? And my anger's starting to raise, because that's what happens when I think of this. I'm fine with both of those because they don't come close to that fucking scene when Indiana's shitty son, played by Shia LaBeouf, is a 50s greaser with a leather jacket on, and he starts swinging from vine to vine with monkeys like he's Tarzan, but he's in the fucking leather jacket. It is such a horrendous scene that bothers me to my core. Like, to me,
Mm-hmm.
the nuke the fridge thing's annoying, but it comes and goes. Like, and even the alien thing, it's like, let's be honest here. With him and Lucas, they're both so obsessed with sci-fi. It was only a matter of time before they ventured into this territory.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's hokey, but all in all, when you have the Harrison Ford scenes, he's of course great. That opening sequence when he's whipping through that warehouse with the crates, little throwback to the
Yeah.
first movie. I love that. But like I said, to me, the fucking son storyline is to me what bothers me about that movie the most, because the Shia LaBeouf, first of all, does not look anything like Harrison Ford. He doesn't have the qualities of Harrison Ford. So it's like was such an odd. I mean, I get it at the time. It was at the height of his powers here, and him and Spielberg had a good relationship, so I understand the casting.
Mm-hmm.
But especially going back, that just it doesn't work. That storyline is where it's like, why?
Yeah, I think it was also they was trying to set up like maybe he was gonna get his own franchise after this, but
Nope.
it still didn't really work out that way. Like it was almost like,
No.
hey, we're gonna set you up to be your own show, and like, up, Harrison Ford took it back. I mean,
Got you, bitch.
he got you. So I think, yeah, it was, yeah, I can't. It just compared to the other three. Again, we go back to once you keep going, you start losing sight of what the original was.
Yes, perfect example. There's a really solid trilogy, the first three Indiana Jones movies. But then years later, you go and hurry up and make another one for the sake of making it to get more money in the franchise. And as a result, what do you get? The quality suffers, and it's the one that I think unanimously everyone agrees is probably the weakest one in the series. Absolutely, and definitely when this 4K shit comes out, man, I'm buying this shit. But even, you know what it feels like? It's kind of how I feel about Terminator 3. It's like it feels like a really high budget fan film, the fourth one to me. And it doesn't and some of it I think at times kind of doesn't feel like Spielberg directed it in some scenes. Just me. I just feel like some of his quality and everything that he did in those first three movies just feels like in some shots it's not there, which is what's concerning me now as we have a fifth Indiana Jones movie coming officially. July 9th, 2022. It's supposed to be on the way. But David, this one, Harrison Ford is coming back. And by the way, I just want to tell you all, Harrison Ford was born in 1942. So he will be 80 years old next year when this is supposed to come out. Also, it's not being directed by Steven Spielberg. This will be the only Indiana Jones movie not directed by Steven. It's going to be directed by James Mangold, who did The Wolverine and Logan. Um, Very good director, but how do you feel about Spielberg not coming back?
So with that, it's the same thing with when you go back to we were talking about the Creed series. It's like Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, when they come together, you already have like, all right, you already have in your
Mm-hmm.
mind this is going to be good. With them two together, it's going to be amazing. So when you have Harrison Ford without
Right.
Steven Spielberg, it almost kind of sucks in a way where it's like we have to associate these movies with those two because they did so well together. It's almost like if anybody else does direct it, it's already in your head like, it's gonna
Right.
be shit or it's not gonna be the same. It's like these guys made, but it's like you guys. It makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because you guys made these first three movies, even the fourth one, if with this, you know, there's stuff wrong with it. Those four movies y'all did together were good. Y'all did magic together. So it's like you're doing a fifth one with it's like all these things strikes against it. It's like Harrison Ford's old. 80 years old, but he's still moving and grooving, so no shade to him.
Yeah, but do you think he can actually? You think he can pull it? I mean, Indiana Jones is a very physical role, and
Exactly,
I have
yeah.
no doubt Harrison Ford's a tough motherfucker. I think we all can
Yes.
agree. He's a grouchy, tough bastard, and I definitely wouldn't want to tell him he can't do something. But at 80 years old, man, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
and also just to say, Harrison Ford had that old man run when he was like 60. So
yes, he
I
did.
imagine he's not gonna do, like you said, it's a physical role, but you don't have Steven Spielberg doing is even at least producing. If Steven Spielberg is not at least involved, I'm taking.
He's producing.
Okay, cool.
He is producing.
Okay,
He's
cool.
producing, but he's not behind the camera, and it's just like, then why are you doing this?
Yeah, and James Mangold did amazing with Wolverine, especially with Logan.
Yes, he's a great
Chef's
director.
kiss. He's amazing director, but it's like I have my reservations. It's like, but then Mangold, Steven Spielberg still in there producing it. At least it's like I want to give it a chance, but same thing. We don't need it. We don't, in a sense, really want it. It's
No.
like, what is the purpose of this movie? What other story are you guys telling with his character being this old? Like, is he passing the torch? Because
Yeah,
you guys tried to do that with the fourth movie, it didn't really work out that well. So why is my question is why? Why do we need this? Why are you making it? What is the purpose?
that's what I don't get. Because yes, it's only one of two ways this goes. Only one of two ways. It's either Indiana as the main focus, running around throwing the whip and all, which I like you said, and I love that you pointed out. Harrison Ford has never been a good runner. He was running like an old man when he was young. So now,
Mm-hmm.
and the risk of injury to him and all around his health is so high, I highly doubt a studio would sign off on him at 80 years old jumping off of horses and shit, and that's not going to happen. So, yeah, you're going to
Yes.
what? Pass the torch on? That failed. And what are you going to do now in
Yeah.
this world? Because he has a son. You can't ignore it. So, and I know there were.
I mean, technically they can. Hollywood has done it
True.
before. They ignored it, but it's not like we forgot. It's like, hey, what about his son?
But the question is, I know there were some rumors going around, and especially after seeing Jurassic World, I have read that the fan favorite, I'm pretty sure, it's safe to say, is Chris Pratt taking over the role. No mention of him being involved in it. But if you wanted to do that, like a passing of the torch, I could see that. So then the series could continue. But then if it's a passing of the torch, that character can't be Indiana Jones. This is what I don't.
Yeah. Or maybe, as you say, Chris Pratt, maybe like you said, some years passed since the fourth movie,
Oh
right?
no! Don't you
Granted.
say it! Oh
Yes.
no!
Let's say that Chris Pratt
No!
is Shia LaBeouf's character, just older.
Why? Okay.
That actually might work.
Yeah.
If they do it that way, now I'm in. Now I am fully invested. If they have Chris Pratt take over as Shia LaBeouf's character, just
Right.
older, and now they pass it off to him, I am involved. Yes, you have my money. Where do I pay? Where do I pay? I am now invested. I will watch it then because it's just so not even ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it's just because it's Chris Pratt. I feel like Chris Pratt going off of Harrison Ford's grumpiness,
Yes.
like it will be comedic. It will be beautiful.
Yes. Or what if they did this? Okay. What if we Creed this shit? Let's Creed it. Shia LaBeouf dies. He gets eaten by snakes. And it has to be snakes because that's what Indiana Jones is afraid of. And you find out that Indiana, running around the world and whatnot, had a son he didn't know about. And that's Chris Pratt. This way, we can officially just kick Shia LaBeouf's shitty character into a swamp and just focus on that. And then it gives, even if it isn't Chris Pratt, whatever. If you just give someone, but it's such, I feel he could pull it off personally, especially in Jurassic World. I feel like he's very Indiana Jones-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel he has such a nice reputation now. I think he's pretty much America's sweetheart between the Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World. I don't see how anybody would mind him taking over, especially because I think we can all agree that Harrison Ford is at the age to where it's time for him to step down.
Yes.
Or if he's going to pop in, it has to be sort of as a mentor type. He can't, I don't care how good a shape the man is in. When you see all the stunts he did, and he did a shit ton of them
Mm-hmm.
in the original movies, he had a great stunt double, but he did a lot of it himself. And if he starts doing, if his ego takes over, he's going to die on set.
Yeah, we don't need a legend like him dying.
No, I mean, I just why I said like you brought up a valid, perfect point, which is, what is the fucking point of this? Why now?
I don't know, John. It just doesn't make sense at all to me.
I don't know either, but we'll find out. The main thing to say is, though, before this fifth one, we can enjoy the four as they come out again on 4K Ultra HD in this beautiful box set, June 8th, 2021. Get the physical media, god damn it. Get the collection going. Come on. Piss off whoever you live with. Make a wall full of movies, because that's the way to be, especially as a movie fan. Am I wrong?
Get the collection. Just focus on that. We don't need a fifth movie. Let it go.
All right, well, moving on. So, in other news, let's go to the realm of horror. Ooh, can I get a scary, like, I don't know, like effect or a voice on your part, like to intro this? Todd, is that you? Who's there? Stop playing around. You know what? It's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm by myself. I'm gonna swim topless now.
I never get these movies when they do stupid stuff like that.
Oh my god. So many dumbass people in the Friday the 13th and especially 80s slasher movies. If you want to see the dumbest human beings to ever live, to the point where I swear Jason just doesn't say out loud, like, really? Really? Like, you're making it this easy for me? Like
Like, this
Christ.
kid's dying and you guys want to have sex? Like, this is making you... Are you guys getting excited off of this? Like, oh my god, kids are dying. Let's do it. Are you guys that horny?
Yeah. Or what is with people? Like, you're going through the woods at night, which is something I just want to put on record right now. I am never doing that. Number one. Number two, if I'm with someone and they suddenly vanish, the last thing that's going through my mind, David, is that they're pulling a fucking prank, which evidently everybody thinks right away in
Yeah,
these
it is
movies.
always that
Uh-huh.
exact same way.
You're
It's
so
like, oh
funny.
my god,
Where'd you
guys,
go?
No.
That's what makes the Friday 13th series special, but that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about another franchise that started in the 80s, definitely an iconic horror character, right there next to Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. That's right, it's everybody's favorite little foul-mouthed doll fucker. It is Chucky
Yes.
from the Child's Play series. And there is a new series coming to television that's going to oddly be on both Sci-Fi and USA.
Perfect places to be.
Yeah. So the Child's Play series started in 1988, and it was written by the great Don Mancini. He also directed the last three films. This was after Seed of Chucky. This was the, forgive me for forgetting, it was before the Cult. It was the Curse of Chucky, and then the Cult of Chucky. I mean, a whole bunch of shit. There's been a whole bunch of Chucky films that have been since 1988. And now that series will continue on. We're talking about that original storyline, not the reboot.
Oh, the reboot with Mark Hamill as
It's
the
terrible. That movie was awful.
it was. I see what they was trying to do with that, with technology and everything, which was I feel like was a right move. It just didn't really hit as it was supposed to me.
No, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it didn't work.
Tell me why.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
The original Chucky, when it came out in 1988, it was preying upon the fact that back then, and this is going to be wild to the kids of today who live on electronics, there was a time kids actually played with dolls. I know, it's wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge one, two big ones in the 80s. For girls, it was Cabbage Patch Kids.
Which look creepy in themselves.
Dude, talk about nightmare inducing.
Yes.
And they're still kind of around. I think, they re-released them and stuff for toy sections and all. Then there was another one called My Buddy. This was actually carried around by boys. I know. Sit on that for a minute. Had a very obnoxious song, My Buddy, My Buddy. It's very stupid. So there was a doll craze. So what it preyed upon was, what if one of these dolls, right, was possessed by this maniac killer. That's why it was so scary at the time, because now these kids got these dolls in their houses, and after seeing this, they're like, uh, which doesn't play into now, and that's why this this doll that's like Alexa, and it had nothing to do with a killer using voodoo to throw his soul into it to jump bodies. No, it was a disgruntled employee that malfunctioned and it wasn't like a nice mom who was hardworking. No, this was a fucking whacked out horror of
Hmm.
a mother with a shitty stepfather. It was just that whole remake.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And something was more. It was more creepier when you have a serial killer and a doll trying to possess your soul. That was a lot more creepier than what they was doing with like I said, I get
Right.
it. Technology. In the wrong hands, blah blah blah, dangerous, all that good stuff. But and like I said, it was like you said, a malfunction robot. It wasn't like an actual human put in there. It was like if I felt like if they would actually put a human in there and he had that ability to mess
Yeah.
with you via technology, that is more creepy. Like he can watch you on camera. He can hack into like your webcam. It's like I see you. What do you do? It's like that type thing. That is a lot more creepier
Yeah.
than and scary and unsettling. Like I said, just the fact that he can watch you. Like there's already people out there. I kind of believe it too that the government is watching you through your webcams. So for a killer to do that and mess with you that way, that is unsettling.
Right. And that's what made the original work so well, is that this whacked out killer, Charles Lee Ray, who was this horrendous serial killer, played by the great Brad Dourif, who has voiced Chucky throughout all those movies all the time till now. Brilliant actor.
Yes.
Um, went into this doll, but he could only stay there for so long. He had to put his soul into a human body, which is why he was trying to prey on Andy, the child that he was given to as a gift, and all hell broke loose. And then you continue on, and that's what this series is going to be. It's going to be Brad Dourif's Chucky, that same Chucky from 1988 that has gone through this entire series. 7 films total, I believe, when you started with Child's Play 1, 2, 3. You had Bride of
Mm-hmm.
Chucky, Seed of Chucky. Then you had The Curse of Chucky, The Cult of Chucky. I mean, it has gone on and on and
Yes. And
on.
again, I think again it goes back to that whole thing of after a while you lose
Yeah.
the vision of what the original was, which we got was the bride. I mean, the bride of Chucky
It's fun.
was still a little creepy, but then the seed of Chucky, that's when it just went. Was it what was that? It was the bride of Chucky. I feel like there was one more before the seed of
No,
Chucky.
that was it. And it became too much of a joke, and Chucky wasn't scary anymore. That's why when Curse of Chucky came, which didn't appear to be a sequel, it almost felt like it was kind of marketed as a reboot. And ironically, Fiona Dourif, the daughter of Brad Dourif, who voiced Chucky, was the main star of the film. And Don Mancini, the creator, actually, like I said, he directed this too. And that's where it kind of went back to its roots, and it got a little scarier, and you find out it is the same Chucky from the other films. It was a nice little twist. Cult of Chucky got a
Mm-hmm.
little that was a hard one to kind of swallow, personally.
Yeah, it was, but it was very enjoy. It was still in line. I felt like it was still in line. It was like it was like a natural progression of what the lore of Chucky can be. Like, yeah, if he could split it, he already can put his soul in dolls. Why not split his soul? Yeah,
Multiple.
I mean, if
Right.
Voldemort can do it, why can't Chucky?
That I thought we didn't say his name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not. I ain't scared of Voldemort. I ain't scared of not ghosts, but I ain't scared.
But yeah, so, and the good news is about this series is Don Mancini, the man who has been behind this whole series, is actually the showrunner. He's executive producing and he's directing the first episode. We have Brad Dourif coming back as the voice of Chucky. We have Jennifer Tilly returning as Tiffany. So definitely going back to form. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and very curious to see where this goes. How do you feel about it? You think it's going to work?
Oh, I think it's gonna work beautifully, especially if you have it in a TV format, so you have longer time to maybe explore more deeply into his backstory, or like his motivations, and just him messing with people on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, you only have what, an hour and a half average to
Yeah.
tell a whole story. You could just drag this out. The killings can be more, dramatic and longer, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that, like you said, you have all the players from the original, and when they brought it back to bring it back to, excuse me, its original form, how can you not love it? How can you not be on board?
I agree. My only apprehension with this is that it's going to Sci-Fi and USA, because then I kind of wish it went to Shudder or even Netflix, because then it could have been R-rated, because that's something that I feel the series needs to be in.
Yes.
If it's going to be on Sci-Fi and USA, we're not getting the R-ratedness, which is gonna. I don't know if that's gonna work in its favor.
Yeah, we need those. We need those f-bombs, those bloody kills. We need that. Fuck you.
Yes.
We need that.
Yes, the scene. I'm glad you brought that up. My favorite scene in the first movie, for those who don't remember, is Chucky is running back into the apartment building. It's where just before he makes his final stand, he sneaks in, and this couple is walking into this elevator, and he hurries up and runs by them, and then of course he plays doll. He lays there like he's a doll, and the couple's very snooty. And as they get out of the elevator, the woman goes, "What an ugly doll." To which Chucky turns his head and goes, "Fuck you."
Best part of the movie ever.
Oh my god, and that we're not going to have that now. He's a foul-mouthed little fucker, and that needs to continue. You can't censor this. It's like censoring Deadpool.
Yeah, like you say, you can't censor Deadpool, but I mean, I feel like that's the next best thing it could be on. I mean, honestly, if they want to, like you say, could have put it on Netflix or at least HBO Max.
True.
And HBO Max at this point is getting everything.
But I just wonder, is it going to hurt it because they can't go full R, or are they going to actually have the balls to make it R?
I mean, I don't know how they can do it on USA and Sci-Fi. I know they can definitely push it to that level, to it just
We'll see. I mean, I hope I'm there. I'm a fan of this. I love that it's the actual creator coming back. He's the showrunner. He's writing it. He's directing it. We got OG Chucky coming back, and I want to say that was such a wasted opportunity, that shitty reboot, because Mark Hamill, is an amazing voice actor. He's done the Joker for years. He can be so creepy. I know he's Luke Skywalker, but that motherfucker can get real creepy real quick. So it kind of feels like it was to quote David Coy, a squandered opportunity, because it could have been something great. Like you said, if it was an actual killer in there like this, that's something to really work with. But what they did was it didn't work. And that's why it came, it went, and, who cares?
Yep.
But here, we're getting into it, man. This is going to be the real deal. I just hope it's bloody. I hope that it's fun. And what's going to be great is probably similar to what they do in Cobra Kai. I'm hope that so brilliantly is I'm going to love all the ways they call back to the original films, because all those films are canon. I just really hope we don't see the fucking kid come back. I'm not talking Andy. I'm talking Chucky's kid from Seed of Chucky.
Oh yeah, yeah. How are they gonna do that? Are they gonna pull a? I'm sorry I had to bring this up. Are they gonna pull a Terminator and just disregard everything that happened?
I don't know. I'd be fine with it if he did. It's probably one of the only things of the Chucky series where if he told me, we're just gonna pretend this didn't happen, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, that part, but everything else. I mean, like, they kind of did do that in the Curse of Chucky and the Cult of Chucky. They kind of ignored that he had that child. They kept the good stuff. They just ignored that. But
yes.
Good. And I mean, I'm excited for this. They have all the right players coming back. They have everybody in there. So, and bringing some new life into it. So I'm happy. I can't wait.
And it really is a testament to the brilliance of this series that a movie made about a little killer doll, which when you even say it out loud is like, all right, but it has become this iconic series. And Chucky, like I said, so much merchandise out there, and has become as iconic to stand next to, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason. He's right there, and it's insane to think about it because he's so small, and it's like
that's what makes it even creepier. He's so small, and it plays in like who did not have an irrational fear of their dolls coming to life and like not murdering you in your sleep, but just like stalking you, coming after you, like in Poltergeist.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Poltergeist did it first.
That doll looked creepy. I mean, like when he threw the towel, he's just like everyone. You could throw the towel over, the blanket over. You didn't want to see it. How many times have we seen those creepy dolls from the past? They probably obviously didn't mean to look creepy when they made them, but when you look at it now, just like, ugh. It's just that innate fear of just like, my doll could be alive, it could come after me, that type of stuff.
And in this case, be very foul mouthed. Like, one of my favorite parts too is when in the original movie, which there's so many great moments in it, is when she picks Chucky up and she realizes she finally hits this. Like in every horror movie, people have to be slapped in the face to finally figure out, oh, something's wrong here. Is when she picks Chucky up, sees that he's missing batteries, and she's like, talk, talk. And he goes, you stupid bitch. And he like hits her.
Yeah. How about again, the thing is like, he's a doll. How strong is this doll? Because he fought against her and bit her. Like, she was holding him at arm's length, and he somehow made it and fought back to bite her. Like, if anybody else, I feel like what does this doll have? Man strength? Retarded man strength? I don't know.
That's the only thing that kills me. Like, I get when he's being stealthy and he comes up behind you. That's the creepiness and scariness of him. Is because you don't expect him to come out of nowhere. But when people go head to head with him, I'm like, you seriously can't field kick that little fucker?
Exactly. Punt his ass. Boom.
Yeah.
Like, everything else can hurt him. I don't get it.
That's what makes it so great, though, is that we can talk about it like this and mention that. And talk about the fact that it's what makes it so hilarious. Is that he's so small. But yet he's got this little knife a lot of times. Or what? I remember in it was Child's Play 3 at the military school. The whole was that the one with the ruler? Is that the one?
No, that was the second
two.
one.
That was two. My fault. That was two.
I actually cracked up. I laughed so hard at that scene where he beat that teacher with a ruler. Like, I didn't know why I was laughing so hard, but it was like, not laughing because it was stupid, but it was still creepy. Just the way his face, the camera angles, he's like marching toward, and she's just like, oh no, ah!
That was a great scream, by the way.
Thank you.
But prime example, he's walking all slow, right? He's got a ruler. He doesn't have a revolver. Like, you can't figure something out. You can't like throw a desk at him. Like, even if you run past him, the worst that happens is you get one hit. If he even touches you, one hit with that ruler, but you're out of there.
Just punch that little fucker. It's like like one punch to the face should be able to knock him out or toss him across the room.
I know, but instead you see like grown people, just like getting their asses handed to him when they like try to tussle with him, and he's like, I mean, I get it. He's squirrely. He can be quick. He can get around. He's ready.
He's squirrely little bastard.
He is. He's sneaky and everything else, and I get that part. But when people are laying on a floor or something, like, I get if it's a child because a child's scared, but if you're a grown adult and he's just coming at you all slow, come on. But hey, that's the joy of Chucky, and I am all in for the series. Like I said, I just hope it being on Sci-Fi and USA doesn't fuck it up, because again, part of its charm is its R-ratedness, but I'm all in. You?
You know I am.
We'll see how that turns out. But getting off that subject and getting on to another, I wanted to bring something up to you, by the way. It's just kind of a generalized thing here, subject, which is anime. David is a huge anime guy. Are you not?
Yes, I am. I would say I am a above average anime viewer.
In terms of cinema, we have all these genres. Like the superhero genre is big, the comic book genre they've seemed to have mastered that. It looks like now with Mortal Kombat and the new Resident Evil coming, that's probably going to be finally. It looks like video game films are finally getting their due. They're finally getting the good treatment. We've definitely mastered martial arts films. Have gotten their due. Everybody seems to have gotten. In terms of Western cinema, U.S. treatments have gotten their due in terms of finally technology and everything coming together, where they've done enough trial and error to figure out how to do it right. But all in all, how do you feel about anime transcending to film? Because in a way, tell me if I'm wrong, I kind of feel like anime is kind of never gets the respect it deserves. As a film genre, it's kind of always cast to the side. Anime films don't ever get the type of respect that other animated films get if they have a Disney logo on it, and there have been masterpieces of anime. Masterpieces.
Mm-hmm. This is very
And
true.
I also feel in a lot of action films, especially martial arts films, holy shit, do they steal from anime? The Matrix, I'm talking to you. You were the first, one of the first ones, but so many. And I just want to talk briefly about is do you think I don't think we've gotten an official perfectly
Mm-hmm.
done where it finally feels like, oh, they can do anime on the big screen. What do you think about that? Like as live
We
action.
have examples of. I feel like we have very, very few examples.
Like as an anime big anime fan, what have I want to make sure, I mean, I probably have a very good grasp over what's been done, but I want to make sure we don't miss any. What direct anime titles have been made into live action?
Ooh, I feel like there's a lot. There's a lot. Let's just start. Actually, how can I start this? Actually, I don't have a complete list, but I mean,
Just off the top of your head.
yeah, just on top. I definitely Ghost in the Shell, the most recent one,
Yeah.
an anime adaptation of Death Note
Yes.
that was on
Yep.
Netflix. Dragon Ball Z Evolution. I'm just talking about, I guess, the more Americanized ones, because they actually definitely have made live action in Japan.
Yes, Initial D being one of them.
Initial D, Full Metal Alchemist, they did Attack on Titan. You know, they do it themselves. You know, but it's not. It's like when you hear an anime adaptation, you automatically think in your head, oh, it's not gonna be great. Same thing with movie adaptations of video games. You know, they just now just pretty much late. You know, with the research of since I guess let's start with Blade. You know, comic book movies have been made successfully.
Right, but they had to go through that time of the 2000s where a lot of those comic book movies didn't work.
Yes.
And you had to go through that period of kind of fucking up here and there. Not that they were all bad, but to finally get to the level of figure out, oh, this is how we do it. And I personally feel there are not enough live action anime treatments done
Yes.
to where we can get to the level to where finally it's like, oh wow, this is amazing.
I would say I have a couple reasons why I'm going to go through a list. I would say one is the thing with animes is that they're very surreal, and you know they're highly exaggerated. It's like, so it's hard. You know, you'll see something happen in the facial expressions, you know, are very exaggerated. Or, you know, I love when Dragon Ball Z, whenever Master Roshi sees something, you know, slightly adult oriented, he gets a bloody nose. Like, it's just those comedic timing and creative things is it's kind of hard to capture in real life. Like, that's what makes the anime so great. You'll see these exaggerated expressions, and it's kind of hard to really do that in live action, to capture that same energy and, you know, magic and just surrealness with movies. You can take elements, you know what I mean? You can take elements, but it's just hard to really, because, you know, you want to make a faithful adaptation. Like, it's easy to do with comic books, at least Americanized comic books, because, you know, they're not really, I would say a great example is we're finally getting to that full comic booky realm is with WandaVision, where she fully embraced, like, I felt like in the beginning they didn't know how to really explain her powers, like, to an extent.
Right.
In the original, in the MCU, they gave us a little bit. You know, she can do telekinesis. She can move things with her mind. She can hit you with energy. Like, what was she really hitting you with? Energy blast? I don't know. But now they went full into her being the Scarlet Witch with her magic, her chaos powers. They fully leaned into that. So it's easier in a sense, I think, to do it with comic book movies or comic books. Not too much with anime and manga, because, like I said, it's that exaggeration, it's that surrealness. And I would say another reason is, like, they have a history of bombing in Hollywood. It's not every time they even try or do make a live action anime, it's not the greatest. It's just like, it's like bomb after bomb after bomb, but yet they still keep trying. But, like, the thing is, like you said, in Marvel, you know, they had that period where it's like it didn't really work. It had some good, it had some bad, and they finally are now hitting their stride. Anime is just like they're not learning from their mistakes. They're still doing it over and over and over again. So when you know, that's a couple reasons why it doesn't. That's a reason, at least another reason why animes are not being adapted as well, because they're not learning from the mistakes.
Right, and one of those big mistakes I'd have to point out right off the bat is the fucking whitewashing, and that's putting white people.
I'm gonna get to that.
White people in the Asian roles. That's a huge mistake. They think it's
Yes, I'm gonna get to this.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
Sorry
I'm
to
gonna definitely
interrupt.
get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
Go ahead.
But I was gonna be my fourth point.
Go ahead.
But my third point will be you're consolidating all this material into one movie.
Yes.
It's like the same thing you see with like, they're gonna leave some stuff out. Like you see it all the time with like the Harry Potter franchise. Those books are long and massive. You have to consolidate 400, 500 pages into an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours
Right.
of runtime. You have to cover all these different beats, and people want to see certain things. Like some things are not going to make it; they're going to end up on the cutting room floor, which is why, in a sense, like when there's the now trend with these books to movies, the last movie is split into 2 movies so they can fit everything in there,
Right.
or at least as much as they can. So these episodes, these animes run for like maybe 26. That's the thing I also want to point out. These anime shows are like, at least some of them are like, we're telling this story, this is it. It's not like shows where you finish a season, all right, what's next? It's like these animes have a beginning and an end. They have an end in sight. They see the end. This is the story we're gonna tell. We're not gonna end it and then like, oh, what's next? It's like we have a beginning, middle, and an end. So it's like you have all these, 26 episodes anime series, 50 episodes, hundreds, blah 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 blah. So it's like you have to. How are you able to consolidate all this material into one movie?
It's tough.
I mean, perfect example. Even though I guess would we consider the Avatar an anime series? I guess we can.
What, The Last Airbender? Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That was an amazing series.
Yes, and then what happened? They try to condense that first season in that one movie, and it did not work. It's like you can't. Like, how do you know what to pick? Because like I said, there's so many episodes that dive into different aspects of the characters or just different parts of their story. Is like, how do you consolidate all that into an hour and a half runtime average?
Yes, especially with the last Airbender, because those episodes, there was no fat in that series. Every episode was great. Every character, everything was perfect. Nothing felt like it was shoved in to be a filler to make a show. That story needed to be told over the span of time, and to not only shove it into that pile of horse manure that was the Last Airbender movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan, dickhead. That was a fucking atrocity. It's a terrible movie, and it's an absolute disgrace to the masterpiece that was that series. And that's what aggravates me about these whitewashed Hollywood spit out versions of these brilliant anime. Like Ghost in the Shell is a fucking masterpiece. And
yes, I love Ghost in the Shell.
What they churn out is so disappointing, and it's like, what? And of course it's gonna bomb. You missed, like you said, all the things that make this work in manga, comics, in anime. You've completely thrown out the window.
And that goes to my next point. Is the thing with these animes is that the Japanese culture is so ingrained in these shows. It's like the customs, the location, the characters. It's all Japanese. It's like it's all ingrained in that culture. So it's like, how are you gonna really translate that, at least in Western media, for consumption? Because what happens is you Americanize it.
Yep.
What happens is whitewashing. Like I said, these shows are so ingrained in the culture.
I hate whitewashing.
That they whitewash it, and it's just like like I said, they're not learning from their mistakes, John.
No.
We have seen whitewashing beyond just these anime movies that they try and make. We see the whitewashing of just other things, or just white people in blackface, Asian face, like Breakfast at Tiffany's. That character.
Oh God.
Yes.
That is
so
one
it's
of
just
the worst.
like. So when you Americanize and whitewash it, it's like you're not even being faithful to the material.
No.
But if you are being faithful, in a sense, you're gonna lose the demographic out here.
Yes.
So let's say you are faithful. Let's say you cast. It's sad to say that if you do cast Asian actors, Japanese actors, and you put it out here, it it sucks to say it might not get a commercial buzz or might not get that mainstream buzz because the average viewer is probably not going to watch it. They're going to be like, why do I want to watch this? When the anime fans, like I said, we're gonna watch because it's our show. You're making a live adaptation, but you're gonna lose some audience, so it's like a lose-lose.
Well,
But then,
here's my. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say
go
something
ahead,
very quickly. Now, here that is what you just said is seems to be the general consensus amongst movie makers in Hollywood, right? That if we put Asians in there, right? Because if we put an Asian woman there and not Scarlett Johansson, who currently has this following and this many followers and is tracking this, it won't work. My counterpoint to you is look at the movie Parasite, right? Korean, look at, I'm not going to get to my physical media recommendation, but I got one that's coming, which is an all Asian cast and everything else, and it destroyed and it's become a massive hit. And the whole point of it is, like you said, if your storyline, I don't give a shit what it is, if what you're making is Japanese in its origin, if part of its charm, and again, anime is so huge. If you've been to cons like we have, if you ever, there's a reason in Barnes and Noble and shit, there's a whole section put towards manga. This shit is huge, but you never tell by the box office, and it just feels like such a wasted opportunity because now, especially with technology, I mean, yeah, you see traces of it. Like, I think one of the earliest ones to kind of have an anime kind of influence over it, but still very subtly, was Blade Runner. That kind of had a feel to it.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And Ridley Scott, being brilliant in that regard, was ahead of the game big time. And then, like you said, it's all whitewashed bullshit, the atrocity that was Dragon Ball Z. You have Last Airbender. You have Ghost in the Shell. Speed Racer. And it goes on and on.
Yes.
And it just seems like, because now these properties are not going to get another shot once you fuck it up like that. These aren't westernized. This isn't Superman and Batman and all, to where, yeah, you can fuck it up, but it doesn't matter because this character is so well known and beloved that you can just reboot it again. And that's what's so frustrating. And I know, like, they've been struggling for years to do Akira, and in a way I'm kind of happy they haven't, because I just worried so much about what's going to happen when they do,
Yes. Because the thing is that, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, John.
No, I just was just saying, the only one that I have seen in recent years, and I know that you feel the same, I'm not speaking for you, but in my opinion, the one that finally kind of felt like it was doing its thing and we got that anime feel was Alita, Battle Angel.
Yes, that movie was amazing. They did everything, even though they, probably recast, they changed it maybe even a little bit, but the essence of the anime, even the look, it felt, and the fact that I don't think it was such a groundbreaking movie, at least especially special effects. Like, that movie was amazing.
Right.
Like, maybe it took some liberties, but it was still it kept the essence. And I think that's what a lot of movies lose. They lose the essence of what the source material was. And Alita was so amazing. At least me and you, we love that movie.
It's so like, underrated.
When are we going to get a sequel? The fact that they did that movie so good and so right, and yet we are not getting a sequel to that. At least we haven't heard any rumblings. And again, who was part of that? James Cameron produced, Robert Rodriguez directed, and part of what I spoke about earlier, what they did in this was, it's definitely envisioned to be a series of films, because the end of the film is open-ended, and it's pretty much just saying to be continued. And what sucks is, now the movie, as if you just never go on and you leave this movie as is, now it has this open-ended ending and we never know what happens. And exactly,
unfortunately, because the box office probably wasn't, I think it did well, but I don't think it hit the numbers that it wanted. It was so innovative in terms of special effects, finally getting the feel, like the essence of anime right, and everyone in it is aces all around. You had, again, Robert Rodriguez, brilliant fucking director. He's made some of my favorite films. I've also, with James Cameron attached, I mean, this is why Cameron is a genius and it's only because he was attached and he has the sensibility to realize, no, we have to respect the source material. We have to
Mm-hmm.
remember this is manga, this is anime, this is not, we can't just westernize this. We have to keep into that roots. And it felt like for the first time, we were finally getting it right, you know. And unfortunately, because underperformed, I just don't understand it, especially with video games being how big they are and seeing the anime influence in a lot of games now. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely the culture, especially the youth and everything, is so geared towards anime. So many anime series are done so brilliantly. The visuals of anime, very tough to top them. And like I said, I've noticed movies steal from them all the time, but it's not fair. And that's
Yep.
where I just wonder, are we ever gonna get the live action anime that's gonna be to that level where it's like, wow, this is like what a Marvel movie is to a comic book come to life. Are we ever gonna get that for anime?
I don't know, cause like I don't know because I feel like we should because like I said, Alita was a great first step in that direction, but
Yes.
yet, like I don't. It's like we finally get what we wanted, or at least us the fans, but somehow it didn't take a hold on the mainstream as like, hey,
Right.
it's like we take a step forward and take two steps back. It's like, come on, you guys, we did everything right on this, and you in like the mass pub. So it's
Yeah.
like it's still something, I guess, that's not hitting with all this. But it's just like I don't know. I'm trying to just when I was doing my research on to speak on this topic, it's like what is missing. Like maybe we might have to just take bits and pieces because we can go on a whole rant on the things they do wrong. Movies like Dragon Ball Z, Death
Uh.
Note, Ghost in the Shell is the most
Ugh.
egregious one, which also
Yes.
sucks because the whole whitewashing thing and when it
Mhm.
came out 2017 around that it's
Yeah.
2017 around this time
Right.
2010s and we're still doing this
Mhm.
again. They do not learn their lessons, but we have,
No.
like you said, we have instances when it does work, or at least they take bits and pieces of essence of these animes. Where you have,
Mhm.
I made a list like Detective Pikachu
Yes.
was pretty good. That was a great adaptation of it.
Yep.
It wasn't in the sense. 'Cause I think they leaned on the whole global scale of how massive and globally Pokemon was. So in the sense of they had characters and it wasn't really whitewashed. It was like
Right.
they knew how globally accepted. I can't even pronounce the word. How globally loved
Mhm.
it was, and it worked to its advantage when they made Detective Pikachu, Alita. We already talked about that. Um, Pacific Rim. You
Yes.
already know anybody who has watched any mechanized anime, Gundam, any of that nature. You can see the influence all over
Oh
that. They're
yeah.
fighting. What are they fighting? Kaiju's. That
Yes.
if that's not a eight, I'm not even gonna even try
That
and
was
figure out
another one.
which.
Yeah, that was another
Yeah,
step. Like, but it's baby steps. Baby steps.
baby steps.
Please keep going.
Oh,
What else?
obviously the Matrix had
Yes.
heavily influence of anime.
Heavily.
And one that I feel like I mean, we know this, but Sucker Punch was
Mm.
heavily influenced. You cannot tell me. That's why
Absolutely.
I love Zack Snyder because he
Me
knows how to
too.
do it. He creates I think it comes down to the essence. Like maybe, like you said, you can't make an exact anime, but you can make the essence, the feel. Sucker Punch is right there. Like you're fighting giant mechanized or giant zombie-like figures. You can animate influence. It's just the tropes of the anime are in that, and it's like I said, baby steps. We're making it in the right direction. Like Sucker Punch was just, if F's anything, that is an influence entirely, entirely. It's like you get these movies that are just like we like you can do it. It's just not connected. You're missing, and I think the Hollywood has to take a step back and look. What have we been doing wrong? What is the mistakes?
Hmm.
Because I don't. That's what I think is wrong with a lot of it. It's like they're not looking at where they are messing up. When you have other franchises, companies, I hate bringing it back to Marvel, but they're doing it so well
Right.
they learn from their mistakes. They're taking the source materials and they're making it their own. They're like,
Yes.
hey, we're not gonna make an exact copy of this, but we're gonna take these bits and pieces. We're gonna capture this essence. We're gonna put it in this movie. We're gonna give you those beats or those images that are very important to the story,
Right.
like Civil War, that iconic scene where you see Iron Man shooting his blasters at Captain America's shield and they're up close towards the end. That is straight from the comic book.
Yes.
They that's what I think they need. They need to take this source material more seriously. They don't
Yes.
need to just use it as a cash grab, because that's what they're doing. They're just like, oh, they see that it's such a huge following. Hey, let's make it a live action. Let's see how much money we can get, and boom, that's when you get soulless things like Dragon Ball Evolution, Death Note. And I just want to go on a quick rant real quick. Just allow me to go on this one quick rant
Go for
on
it.
Ghost in the Shell, because I love Ghost in the Shell.
Me too.
I have the original movie. I loved the anime when it came on Cartoon Network. I used to Adult Swim. I used to stay up and watch the entire series.
Mhm.
I even have the new series that they have, Ghost in the Shell Arise, on DVD,
Yes.
Blu-ray, because I love the series because of, we always have these movies like, oh, we're going to be cybernetic in these years. We're going to have flying cars, blah, blah, blah. But it takes a deeper dive into, they didn't even call them souls. They call them ghosts, which was Ghost in the Shell. You're pretty
Right.
much, people have these android bodies where it's not even their own body anymore. It's completely android. And it's like,
Mhm.
and it's like the whole hacking thing, the whole jacking in. It's like to the point where like people question if are they human? Were they robots? They can't tell. It's like you could be someone can hack your memories and erase your memories in your brain because your brain's cybernetic now. It's like these like philosophies and like psychological, I don't even know if I'm using the right word, excuse me, but whatever, you get it. These questions about life. They didn't even say my soul, they call it my ghost is telling me something. It's the point where he's not even a soul anymore.
Right.
Like, or just like, you can have a cybernetic arm, but the rest of your body is human. It's just like these questions of life. What is life? What is humanity? What is real? What is not real? Which, the Matrix takes part, took, essence with and made it to their own thing. But back to this movie, when they cast Scarlett Johansson as the Major, the Major Kusanagi, I think her name is Asian. They didn't even give her Asian name. They
No.
allowed it, like they tried
Oh.
with quotations to make it take place in Japan. Their boss was Japanese, like in the show, blah blah blah. They try to add elements of like multicultural, but they took away the essence and the whole whitewashing of everything. But to me, in that movie, the most egregious thing they did in that movie, I felt was like a spit in the face of anime, Asian people. Everything wrong was the fact that if you didn't watch the movie, spoiler alert, don't watch it anyway because it's trash. But
Watch the original though. It's a masterpiece.
yeah, watch the original. Yes, the masterpiece. But the thing was, they created the Major. What they did was they kidnapped these two. They created the Major and they created the antagonist
I know
or
what
the
you're gonna
antagonist.
say.
Yes, they took these were Asian male and female people that corporation kidnapped, took
Yep.
their brains and put them in these cybernetic bodies. And what did they do? They made the cybernetic bodies white.
White
Now,
people, yes.
So so that's the most. It's like you could have chose to keep them in Asian bodies if you want to, or Asian and android cybernetic bodies, but that was your reasoning to make them white so you can hire
Awkward.
Scarlett Johansson. That is so awkward and blatant disrespect to me that I just can't let that fly. It's like someone thought in that writing room, hey, let's kidnap Asian people and make them white. Are you fucking out of your mind? Like that's and again, when I'm gonna look this up. I need to look this up and find out when this movie exactly came out, because that Ghost in a Shell 2017, I was right. 2017, people. That was 4 years ago.
Not long
Again,
ago
they
at
do
all.
not long ago at all. Not long ago at all. They have not learned anything in Hollywood.
No.
That's why Scarlett Johansson gets so much heat. That's why there was a whole running gag of people saying, "Oh, we're gonna make a Harriet Tubman movie. Guess we're gonna cast Scarlett Johansson."
Yeah, because
She's up for the
I'm
role.
sorry, but you're Scarlett Johansson. You have your pick of anything. You didn't read that script, see that, and think to yourself, is this right? Like, can we do this?
Yes, yeah, and I'm not gonna talk about how horribly she acted the role of the Major and the things she did. It's just, but I just want to leave on that note. That is what the writers, directors, everyone who was involved in that and thought that was a great idea. That was a great. It's like it's mind boggling because I can't fathom. That's worse to me. That is worse than the whitewashing of just casting somebody. You deliberately chose,
dude, it's bad,
to change them and make it in the movie that way. It's not like, hey, we're gonna make this person white, or we're just gonna cast a character as white. No. You made them that way.
Make it way worse.
You made it so much. You wrote it in the story. It's not worse. It's not worse that you kidnapped Asian bodies and forced them white. Oh my! And then she didn't know of anything of her past. That means you even erased her identity. You erased her race from. You erased who she was as an Asian person. That is so fucked up.
Yeah, she couldn't even be Asian on the inside. She couldn't even be Asian on the inside.
You erased everything of her identity.
Terrible.
Oh my God, John, that is horrible. I can't go anymore, but I just had to say that. That's what needed to be said. And it was, that to me is just, and again, I love Ghost in the Shell, and it's so disgraceful. It's so many words. It's disgraceful. It's horrible. It's horrendous. I need a thesaurus to think of all the words that equal what they did.
Yeah. It's so shocking. Like, I don't mean to laugh.
Preposterous.
I'm sorry. A great word, preposterous. I don't mean to laugh, but it's so ridiculous and so crazy. It's like, how did this get this far and by the way, not a low budget film at all. There was coin put in to this flick.
Yes.
And that blows my mind too, that financial backers, everybody saw this. And again, we're not talking 20, 30 years ago where you could put, ignorance in there or something, or a different time period. Nope. This is just 4 years ago that this shit came out. So, really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
There are other examples too of films like Blood the Last Vampire. It's a very small kind of live action, but I thought that nailed an anime feel. I thought that did pretty well. Also, a great film with an all Asian cast that I feel, even though it's a martial arts movie, had a major anime influence was Ninja Assassin.
Oh, yes.
Right? And that did not do nearly as well as it should have, and I will die for that movie. That's how much I love it.
I think I think it's a nice cult following. I think, if anything, that's what it. Yes, people love it, but it didn't get the mainstream. But people love it.
But yeah, it's just like you said. It's just so mind-boggling, and especially, oh my God, with a property like Dragon Ball Z, an enormous following, incredible source material, and you put that tool bag, that white dude with the blue eyes, the son from War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise's son in the movie, you put him, you freaking, frost his hair up, and wait, what character is he, David, supposed to be?
He's supposed to be Goku. I can't, John. I hated that movie so bad that even in film school, my classmates knew when they brought that up, I was gonna go into a tizzy because I love Dragon Ball Z. I have Dragon Ball Z tattooed on me. Dragon Ball Z was my introduction into anime, so it was like the thing that led me to this love of anime. And you scorched earth that. It's like Ghost in the Shell and Dragon Ball Z Evolution are like the top. They're fighting depending on how I feel that day when they're brought up of the top. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I'd say right there with him, I'm going to make it a 3-way tie with The Last Airbender.
Oh my god. Yep. I accept that. I don't want to accept it as in like the movie itself, but I accept it.
Because even Last Airbender, man, especially when I first heard that was being adapted into a live action film, what I thought they were going to do is split it up into, like, even if you told me a trilogy, fine. And then M. Night Shyamalan, who, oh, that fucking guy. Very hit or miss. Personally, I think a lot more misses than hits. Typically disappoints a lot. And I was like, okay, that's a weird choice. Of all the directors you could have had handle this anime property, you're giving it to someone who's never done anime before. Interesting. And then it came time, and then I'm starting to see the cast, and it's like, yeah, these are white people, and then those that aren't white aren't even Asian, which is even weirder. And then not only that, but I think Airbender might just take it because in the Dragon Ball movie, and forgive me, I burned it out of my brain. It's not like people run around calling him Goku or Goku, and like in this fucking movie where his name is Aang, but they keep calling him Ong.
Yeah, it's like little things like that. You clearly changed it. Why? Like, why would you do? It's that we. God damn it, John. God damn it.
Unleash your anger.
It's just those, like, again, you're just changing things for no reason. The essence of the character.
No.
Like Iroh, is his name is Iroh. They called him Eero. I was like, what are you doing?
That was the other one. I couldn't remember. That was the other one.
He
Oh
said,
God.
I remember reading somewhere watching. He changed because it didn't sound how it should have, or how he thinks the name was supposed to be spelled. Like, bruh, the thing that makes it worse.
You. Who do you think you are?
It's not like
you're doing that shit.
It's not like you have the comic. It's not like you're reading it and have to guess how to say this person's name, or you have the manga.
No.
The show was. They pronounced the name for you, and you still fucked it up. That's how do you mess up something that's given to you? Like, hey, this is how we did it. This is the name. Okay, cool. Fuck that. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Especially the whole point. The reason it got made into a fucking movie is because the show was so huge. Therefore, if you're gonna take this show, okay, we're gonna break it down because everybody's stupid. This show is good. Therefore, for it to transcend to live action, what do we have to look at? The source material. And you have it all right there. This isn't just in a script page where you have to think about and imagine how you're going to pull this off. No. This was done brilliantly. It is a masterpiece, Avatar The Last Airbender, the series. You had all those episodes to choose from, to look at.
Mm-hmm.
You could have easily pulled visuals, and you definitely could have heard how to pronounce the names because, David, you're right. Not only did they say his name, they said it multiple times. And it's like, seriously? You didn't even take time out, 30 seconds, to just verify how to say this very simple name? These aren't tough names to say at all. Which then just begs the question, like, you really didn't give a shit at all.
Again, it's just a cash grab for them. They don't see, they take out the soul and the essence. Again, it comes back. It just keeps coming back to the soul and essence of these things. And they just don't keep them in there. They just rob it. They use it what they can to get what they want. It's just no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bullshit. So, will we ever find a day where in a big screen movie theater that there is an anime property turned live action with the proper cast, the proper treatment of it, respect of the source material, and the visuals that can match the innovative, unbelievably iconic images of anime? We'll have to just find out. Do you think we'll ever see it within the next, let's say, 5 years?
I can't even give you an answer. I would say we will in the future. How long that is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But in the next 5 years, I wouldn't hold your breath. I'm optimistic, but the way we have seen these trends and how they're taking so long, slowly but surely, I don't think so.
Yep. And you know what, David? I concur with you. And to Hollywood, for those anime properties that you shit the bed on, fuck you. for doing that.
Big old middle fingers.
And with that, let's get on. Now that we're, I think, both infuriated, I think we should get on to something more positive. And as we get towards the end of this episode, it's time for the physical media recommendation.
That's the word, right? Yes.
David, what is your physical media recommendation of the week?
Well, since I have a love for anime and how we just got off on that topic, my physical recommendation is the Steelbook of Ghost in the Shell. The original Ghost in the Shell, the anime Ghost in the Shell. Okay?
Ooh, pretty.
Now, the reason I love this movie, so I had to get it in the Steelbook.
Absolutely.
And it's just gorgeous. One, just the book, the Steelbook itself cover is just gorgeous. It shines, it sheens. When you move it across a reflection of light, you see different things that shine and reflect in gold and silver. And it just looks beautiful. One, it feels beautiful. So just this movie in general is beautiful, okay? The movie itself is gorgeous. Like it came out in the 90s.
Yes,
when the animation style, late 90s. The animation style during this time, like I'm getting off topic. The animation style of this movie was just gorgeous. It's like, how can I would reference it to Disney when they came out with, Snow White, Bambi, how that animation style was just so beautiful, and it still holds up to this day. And the music, the feeling, like, I just love it. It just looks great. It feels great. It
does.
Everything about it is just beautiful and gorgeous. It asks those life questions. They're after, this super hacker, but everything about it is just beautifully shot, drawn, written. Ask the tough questions about life. Am I human or not? It just, and this whole cyberpunk feel. It's like you feel engulfed in this world. Like, it gives you a full picture of like what the future could be, or it gives you a full sense of their future, at least, which we did not get in the movie, the live action movie.
No.
But I guess
we didn't get shit in that pile of shit.
Nothing at all. But yeah, it's just mind blowing. It's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. Like I said, I had to get it because it's one of my favorite movies. So that's my media recommendation. It's the Steelbook of Ghost in the Shell. If you're unable to get it, at least get the movie itself, because the movie is gorgeous. Anime done, drawn right. It's beautiful. And once you see this movie, you will understand. You look at the Matrix. Yes, you will see it. Yes.
Oh yeah, stole from it so bad.
The Matrix got its feel, its essence from this movie.
And when I was introduced to anime, my friend Demetrius, who was big into Japanese anime, we got together talking about martial arts films, and he showed me. I was nervous because I didn't really know anime that well. It was kind of thing as a movie freak. I saw some anime, like I saw Akira, but I didn't really know the genre that well. And I remember he said to me, he goes, "All right, I'm going to give you 2 movies." And they still remain my favorite anime movies to this day. And that was Ninja Scroll and Ghost in the Shell. And
nice.
Ghost in the Shell, like everything David just said, it was so innovative, so unique, and it was too good to the point where you could not ignore its greatness. The fact that it was a 2D animated film in anime form, which, especially in Western civilization, even now, as you see, anime doesn't light up the sky as much as it should. This was too good to ignore. And like you said, The Matrix, and once you see this film, you will see it in so many others. So many movies stole from this. The visuals are so iconic and were so ahead of their time. And it's true artistry, and it's a great steelbook, and what better way to have it? Because and like he said, steelbook I think has become a little rare. If you can't afford that, you can easily get this. Even if you get it on DVD, believe me, you can enjoy the film, and that's very inexpensive to get. Yes. That's actually how I had it for years.
Yes, and it's actually the 25th event, the 25th anniversary, so that's probably why also.
So there you go. It's the anniversary, but yes, it's so. it can't be said enough about even Ex Machina. Now that I look at it, kind of had a felt very influenced. That's another one that had an anime influence, big time.
Yes, may not too heavily, but definitely the themes and yes, it's subtle. The themes and yeah, definitely.
Hmm. But it all stems from here, kids. You can do no wrong if because for some of you out there, even if anime is not necessarily your jam, trust me, he's not kidding. You want this film. Trust me, you need it. Buy it.
Mm-hmm. Get it now.
Now, my physical media recommendation is not anime, though it is a Korean film. Definitely, at times too, has a bit of an anime influence. This is in the horror genre. It's a little film called Train to Busan.
Oh yes, this is such a good movie.
Yeah, this is the zombie film of Korea. This is one of the top masterpieces to come out of Korea, and there are a lot of them. Not just Parasite, there's tons of them out there. I think Old Boy was my first introduction to Korean cinema, and that movie, well, I didn't sleep for days after seeing that fucking movie.
Oh yeah, that thing fucks with you.
It does. But Train to Busan blew me away. It's a zombie film. These people are caught on this bullet train in Korea, and it's nuts, man. It's balls to the wall. This movie. It's got so many twists and turns. You have a father trying to protect his daughter. It's just so well done, and to the point where it spawned a sequel. And of course, now there's going to be a U.S. remake, which I don't know why, because this movie is just a few years old and it was such a masterpiece. Why do you need to remake it? You know?
Honestly, you don't need to remake it, but no, you don't. You
No.
don't.
No, and I own this on DVD, and it's one of my favorite DVD purchase stories. This is a very special DVD to me because of what happened when I bought it. I went to Walmart. It's a true story.
I remember the story.
And I saw it on the rack for $7. Realized I don't own this. Why don't I own this? And I was gonna get it on Blu-ray. They didn't have any Blu-rays left, so I was like, you know what? I'll just get the DVD, and then I'll just upgrade to the Blu-ray at some point. I'm a physical media junkie, people. You don't understand how bad the addiction is, so I don't care. For a movie like this, I'll happily buy 3 copies of it if I need to. But I went to the front and I grabbed some, first of all, Walmart, the candy section, you can get a lot of cheap candy.
Yes.
And and that's what I was craving to watch with this. I was gonna go home. So I'm in line and there's an Asian man that was the cashier. And the movie was last. I got one other stupid thing, whatever it was, something different. And he rang up my first thing, the candy, then the Train to Busan comes up. He rings it up, he stops, he holds the movie in his hand, and he just stares at it and he smiles. I don't know what to do, right? I'm like, uh, sir, like that's mine. Like I don't know what to make of this. And I just stood there for a second and he looked at me and he said, "This is my hometown, Busan." I said, "Are you kidding me?" So buying this in a Walmart in New Jersey, the man who rung me up is from Busan. And he talked about like the train station in the movie is actually very close to where he lived, how important this movie was for Korea, and we had such a nice conversation. And to me, I owe every time. This is also one of the reasons why I love physical media. Now, every time I look at this and I hold it in my hand, I remember that moment. And that's part of the fun of collecting movies. So many of my movies have come from all different places I've been, conventions, movie stores that are no longer around, even the Virgin Megastore in New York. I have stuff from there that I remember being there in New York. And there's that emotional tie to it. And that's something so unique to my copy that no one else has, is that experience I had at Walmart, which I wasn't even planning to go there that night. But look at this. I had this amazing conversation, this moment. So now whenever I look at this, I think of that guy and like what are the odds that I would get that? And this DVD, and let me tell you, I don't even need to upgrade it to Blu-ray because it looks great on DVD. The transfer is awesome. It's got some amazing special features. They have behind the scenes. They also have English dub if that's what you're into, because it is a Korean film.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I've always been this way, especially with kung fu movies, which owned way too many of. I actually like to hear the their dialect. I like to hear them speak whatever their language is. Like I'd rather watch this in Korean with the subtitles. That's how I am. Because sometimes when the dubbing is done well, it's cool, but sometimes it's not done well. Like to
Yeah.
this day, you have no idea how much it bothers me in Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee when he's standing in this girl's apartment and he goes, "Can I use your toilet?" That still bothers me. It's so I'm like, Bruce Lee didn't say that. Come on. Like, can I use your toilet? Like, what the fuck? So, but yes, this masterpiece is so well done. It's it doesn't matter that it's in a foreign language. Don't ever let that dissuade you. The actors in this convey such amazing emotions. There's such suspense. The stakes are high. It really, you're on this journey with them. It's scary. It's nuts. It's one of the best zombie films ever made. I'll put it right up there next to a Romero movie. Please, if you haven't seen Train to Busan, just buy it. Buy it.
And Train to Busan, yeah, it's like it's a even though it's a zombie, it was like not the height, maybe towards the tail or whatever. It was during this whole time of the whole zombie apocalypse, zombie spread. But the way I guess the way they did it was so fresh and different. It's like, oh, I don't even think they really did anything different per se, but it's just a different story retelling of the whole zombie apocalypse, and it was just like wow. And yeah, it was very visually gorgeous too. It definitely creeped me the fuck out when I was watching it.
Oh yeah, and you do not see the things that happen, the events that occur. A lot of it you do not see coming, and when it happens, it's like, holy shit! This movie just floors you. It's so well done. There is a sequel, like I said. I have not. I shame on me. I haven't watched it yet. Have you seen the sequel, David?
No, I almost didn't want to watch because the first one was so good. It's like, do I need to watch
I'm
the
with
sequel?
you. I feel the same way. I'm kind of like leery about it because it kind of came and went, and I shouldn't judge it on that alone. I'm going to watch it at some point. I wasn't in a rush because I love this one so much. And I just worry too, like, is this just a cash grab? Is it just cashing in on the first one, or is it actually gonna be able to stand next to the first one?
I don't know, but I mean, now that you talk about, it, I feel like you almost have to watch it. Like I have to watch. It's like you have to watch it
I do.
because we love the first one so much. Is like, are we really fans if we don't watch the sequel and at least have our own
Yeah.
opinion on it?
Kind of makes me a poser. So yeah, I gotta fucking watch it. And I
We're
will.
posers.
But that is my but that is my physical media recommendation. David has made his. Both of these films are available to purchase everywhere and using eBay, even on Amazon. Don't be afraid to buy used. I have done it for the majority of my collection, and the majority of what I get when it is used is sent to me. It looks brand new. The disc is flawless, the case is in great shape, and it saves a lot of money. So, again, there's no excuse why you cannot have a crazy huge physical media collection of the movies you love.
Exactly, because I mean, yeah, we're fans. You mean, how can you not be a fan and not have these things, you know? And I guess now, I would say, if you're growing up, maybe like 10, 15 years old, you probably won't really need to see the sense of like having a DVD collection, which is actually, I want to bring this point up. We was cleaning out my grandfather's house, and I saw all these not DVDs, these VHS tapes. I was like, wow, we used like holding some of these tapes in my hand. I was like, yo, we really used to watch with these, and it's like it felt so foreign and weird to me, but so familiar.
Yes, yes. We'll definitely, in future episodes, we're definitely going to get into talks about VHS and all sorts of other stuff. But for that, it looks like we are coming to the end of episode 3 at the video store here. Next week, we will definitely be covering the Snyder Cut. It comes out. It's going to be releasing this week. Also, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and so much more. Please come back. Again, like, subscribe, tell your friends. And also, if you live in the tri-state area of the United States and need photography, go to farfromcoy.com for the best photographer your ass will ever see, David Coy.
Check me out. Come look at my website, farfromcoy.com.
Is there anything else you want to say before we close out this episode, sir?
I think we should say, or at least for, thank you for, listening with us, talking with us, enjoying
Yes.
our rants,
Yes, we
being
love
here
you.
with us as we dive in deep in these anime movies, tropes, and everything like that. I'm just happy you guys are listening to us. I'm happy you guys are here with us. And, we're going to keep it coming. We're going to keep it
Yes.
moving. I'm just grateful, It's just two guys just talking our shits about movies, and I'm just glad you guys are here to enjoy us talking our shit.
Absolutely. We love that you're here with us at the video store. You're welcome anytime. But right now, we got to close up. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. But again, we will be back next week. So I guess before we leave, David, I have a joke for you.
Yes, what is this joke?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
What killed the
what?
What killed the dinosaurs?
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
The Video Store Bad Boys podcast is a double pop collar production. Be on the lookout for the Video Store Bad Boys on all of your favorite social media platforms. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe. The Video Store Bad Boys will return next week.
Bye.